everyone, it's me, Veronica Bartolini with Code Breaker Real Talk. There's no way that I can dim the back or whatever, the background, and it is what it is. There's Kiki. Say hi, Kiki. Kiki and Honey is over here, taking in the sun. And then Lola is out there in the living room with my son. But I'm coming to you guys live because my daughter and my son, I had to tell them and my family recently of what's going on. And some of you know, so it's been very tough. On the 27th of September, I got a phone call from one of my surgeons, and he said, "Hey, the pathology report came back and we got to talk." And I'm like, okay. So they had taken some lipomas out of the bottom half, the glute area. I had several pain for these little balls that became really big on my glutes and around my hip, and this has been going on since 5 years ago. 5 years ago, I went to an urgent care, and I had an X-ray done, and they said, "Wow, you have some. I guess we'll call them. They could be. We don't know if they're tumors. What's going on? They're on your hip, and we don't know what's going on." And so then I try to get my local doctor to help me. I had been his patient even before the incident happened, the near-death experience happened, even before Halloween of 2010. Um, and he kept giving me the runaround, and then finally I asked, "Hey, can I have an MRI?" And twice my MRI was denied. Once they send it to another place. It's just been hell. It's been hell because of the pain. It's been hell because there's other things that are going on. Um, so to make a long story short, with him, Dr. Bakotic, his name, he ended up in jail because of domestic violence. I helped his wife, but because his wife was a victim, and anyway, it's just been a lot. Um, I don't know. I got to get my record still from there. So they diagnosed me with a few things here. Let me get my glasses. See what it's called. It's called myxoid. Let's see. My. Let me find it. MYXOID liposarcoma. That's what they said that I had in these. It became a. They're called lipomas. Okay, so they took 4 out, but now I got a call from the doctor today, and he told me that he's gonna try and get me in earlier for an MRI, because in the CT scan it shows that it's all over my back, on my butt area, and between all over, even on the hips, and it's really hard to like walk, stand, even to sleep, because my hip on my right, it hurts so bad that I can't sleep at night. I will not take any of those medications because those are addictive and they're not going to help. That it's just putting a band-aid on a problem. Cats are fighting. Kiki. And so I asked him, I said, "So am I going to need radiology or chemotherapy?" And he says that he doesn't know yet, that I have to go get the MRI. I'm supposed to be leaving out of town, which I know I'm going to leave out of town anyway, because I gotta take care of this, but then at the same time I gotta take care of my mind. So we'll see what happens. But he said that he's gonna also have a plastic surgeon on hand, and I'm like, "Why are you gonna have a plastic surgeon on hand?" He says, "You're gonna most likely need a lift, a butt lift." I'm like, What? Because he said that it's 8 inches above and 8 inches below throughout. And these things have been growing and growing. He told me that he has never seen this case before. That the he's had one like maybe one or two people have like what they call a penicillin. It's called a penicillin. It happens with penicillin. Okay, now I know that since I was a child, I can remember up when I was like 5 years old, getting penicillin shots from my mom because I was always sick. I was either pneumonia, bronchitis, or she just didn't like me coughing. And in Mexico, the thing that they do back in the day, because we didn't have money to go to the doctor, they would give penicillins to their children on their butt. And so I remember being so terrified and saying, no, mommy, no, I no quiero la inyección, I don't want this. But she said, so it's for your own good. And she would get mad. And she's like, you have to have it. I was so scared. Back then, we had the jeringas. The syringes were pretty thick. They were like this thick, and they were glass. And then the aguja was pretty long too, the needle. Then, of course, later on, they became plastic. And I think the last time my mom gave me penicillin shot was when I was 18. And I said, no more because I'm 18 and you don't touch me no more. And I know she probably meant it, to help me, but because, back in the day, they just didn't know. Now, another thing, in 2005, there was a doctor from Mexico coming to Tucson to give females Botox shots on their face, on their lips, and on their butt. And he was showing me this video. He was showing me this video of people getting their heads chopped off, and you know what they do with their parts. And I'm like, why is he showing me this? And it was a channel called PLOMO in Spanish. I'm like, why is he showing me this? I don't need to see this. Okay. Um, and I'm thinking people must have, the ladies that would go to him must have been getting penicillin shots on their butt to make their butt bigger. I don't know. Maybe he was crooked. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know. But I just thought about that and I'm like, whoa. Because I have seen online um, that there's these women that say, hey, there's a doctor coming from Mexico that they're going to do they give shots for your stomach or to reduce, your fat in your arms, or they give you shots in your butt to get, a butt lift. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, and there have been many crooked doctors that have been coming here to Tucson from Mexico to do that. But anyway, my case is from the penicillin shots that my mother gave me. And the whole thing, I already said what the word was of the cancer. We're calling it marshmallows, my kids and I, to not give it power. And then there's another problem. I have a problem on my right knee, which is let me tell you what it is. So in 2003, March 30th of 2003, I had my left knee done, and it was torn. The meniscus was torn in 3 places, and I had that done. And so now it's been 6 months that my right knee has been hurting, and I'm like, what the fuck's going on, right? So I finally went to get an X-ray. This was last year, I think it was November, October, and the lady at the urgent care called me right away, like the next day, because it was a weekend. And she called me the next day. She's like, I'm texting you your X-ray. You need to get this checked. And I'm like, okay. Well, Finally, I had an MRI a week and a half ago on my right knee, and they told me that the cartilage is torn in two places, and there's also what they call a it's a femur tumor. And let me tell you what the word is here, because I took some screenshots, and I'm learning myself out of all this stuff. So it's called chondro chondrosarcoma. Small conventional CS, which is short for that word, can be cured with surgery. Uh, Cryosurgery is a type of surgery that uses a very cold liquid to damage tumor tissue, radiation therapy. And I'm like, why do I want radiation? My goodness. Then it says some rare types grow rapidly and have a high risk of spreading to other areas of the body, which can take these cancers difficult to treat. For example, arm, pelvis, knee, femur, that's where it is, hips, ribs. Then I have a cyst in my liver. And then there's something going on with my lungs. I don't want to die right now. I don't want to go yet because of my kids. My son and my daughter are precious to me. Of course, my sisters, my mom, my family, my friends, right? I love you guys. You know I do. But it's been tough. Um, for the past 5 years, I've been in chronic pain. Um, I won't take any of their medicine. I won't take the oxy, and I don't take anything like that. Hi, Junk Journal Diva. How are you? And thank you for subscribing yesterday to my channel. I do super soldier stuff. I do reality checks, and then I do junk journals here because I don't know how to separate the junk journals from this life here, right? This reality of mine. You are too young. I hope, pray to be healed. Thank you. I appreciate it. I do. I had cervical cancer in 1995. I got married in 95. Yes. So in 96, they said, "Oh, you need a leap done." LEAP. They had to burn the cancer cells from my cervix, which they did, and then I was able to have my two children. And then in 2012, I had my cervix and uterus taken out. I was in the military, as you know, guys, and I was a police officer. They gave me the anthrax shot, Quaalude, so it's the 5-in-1. When I asked the doctor, I'm like, well, what is this gray matter? He said it's called fish gray mucus. And I said, well, how do you know I wasn't from the anthrax shot in the military? I'm still trying to get my benefits. Well, he says, you're too young to be in Vietnam. I'm like, okay, but I was in during the Gulf War in 1991, 1992. They gave me those shots. Even friends that I have that joined in 98, they gave me the shots, and a lot of them have cages. I've had 2 surgeries. One, my lower back. I've had 5 vertebrae taken out from S1, L1, L2, L3, L4, and L5. I have titanium there. And then my neck. I just had my neck done in January. It's C3, 4, 5, and 6. Titanium there. Now my middle back is hurting. My bones have been hurting. I've had my shoulders done already. Like in the academy, when I did the Red Man drill, they fractured my left arm, but I graduated like that. Same thing in the academy in 2005 when Sergeant, after they called off the fight because it was another Red Man, they had called off the fight because I made him bleed after I punched him right in the face, right? And us cadets, we didn't have any kind of padding, nothing. They did, and they had a face thing too. And so they stopped the fight and they blew the whistle, but then he kicked me. He was mad because a female had made him bleed, and I was married to a cop back then, becoming a cop. So this guy was mad, and I'm like, really? You're gonna like do me like that? Shoot, I'm gonna get myself right up. Like, I'm not gonna, even though I was in dire pain. So you should be getting benefits. Wow, how awful to treat. Pretty bad. A lot of vets have decided to go homeless because we're just a number. We are actually a science experiment. And when I was in college, I would tell my friends and my family, I'm like, "Dope! I feel like I'm a science experiment." I'm not kidding. Ever since I was born, I've had all these shots that I've had. The pneumonia stuff, the penicillin shot, right? And then I had the doctors every year. They would check my blood. I'm O negative, so and I have psychic abilities. And I've been reading this book. Let me go get it. Hold on, guys. I'm in shorts. Let me get my book. Right here somewhere. Where did I leave it? Okay, one moment. It's called The Gene, An Intimate History, Inspiring and Tremendously Evocative. Number one, New York Times, by Siddhartha Mukherjee. This is the book. And I've been learning a lot about cells, how the genes are in our DNA. They talk about mental issues, mental health issues, mental illness. They talk about the cancer word. Um, and I've been learning a lot about how these. There's one quote that it really intrigued me. Let me read it really quick. It's not too long. It says, human beings are ultimately nothing but carriers. And I'm like, soldiers are nothing but science experiments, right? For genes. They are nothing but carriers, passageways for genes. They ride us into the ground like race horses from generation to generation. Genes don't think about what constitutes good or evil. They don't care whether we are happy or unhappy. We're just means to an end for them. The only thing they think about is what is most effective for them, and this is by Haruki Marhakimi, 1Q84. No, it's okay. Wait. And then this this has some bad words. So if there's some kids around, don't let them hear this. One is, the blood of your parents is not lost in you, by Menelaus, the Odyssey. The other quote is, they effed you up, right? Your mom and dad. They may not mean to, but they do. They fill you with the faults they had and add some extras just for you. This is by Philip Larkin. So, I mean, if you think about it, the anthrax shot, the mustard gas that was given, we had races. We had timed, like, how fast can you put on your gas mask? Because they're going to gas us right now. I was one of the fastest ones. And also, when you have to dismantle and mantle your M16 shoot, I could do it blind. You know what I'm saying? I was so happy. Um, so there's some things in the mustard gas that cause cancer. There's some things in Agent Orange and anthrax that cause cancer. There are some things I feel that are in penicillin that cause cancer, because I have that problem now. And this femur thing, I don't know if it's because it was somebody, the sergeant that hit me in the academy. I don't know. Well, what if it's not, though? Because the doctor said that it had been there for 18 years. I was in the military when I was 18. I'm 52 now. How do you know these are not experiments that the government and the military do to test it out in the world? What's going on right now with Ukraine? Why is the US giving so much money to Ukraine, right? For black ops. What kind of viruses? Oh, shoot. I said the V word. I hope this video is not taken down. What kind of V words are created? What do you think about the Gulf War? In 1991, when I went in, Saddam Hussein was, before that, they were friends supposedly with the USA. But because they pretty much bought anthrax from the US. This is the story that I was told. But then the US didn't like the Saddam Hussein getting so powerful, right? The poppy seeds, heroin. What do you think is an oxycodone? Heroin. Why do you think people have bone problems? Their jaws start twitching or whatever, What the F did they give to us soldiers? What is going on, guys? Like I'm at a loss. I've been fighting for my VA benefits. I even 1 year it took me. Hey, I put my benefits in 2 years ago, and I finally checked on them, and they said we didn't receive anything. And by the way, because my first name is Jesus, but I took it off when I got my divorce, and it's just Veronica Bartolini. So they're like, Jesus Bartolini. Okay, we have you written down as your birthday of 1900. I'm like, that's not my birthday, bro. And then I got mad at the guy that supposedly helped me at the VA center, Building 13. I'm not going to say his name. It's in one of my other videos. He's like, well, you only gave me original copies of your medical. I'm like, no, I didn't, sir. I went in there. I made sure you. He was. The whole thing was, oh, I don't know if I'm going to have enough paper to print these out for you. And I'm like, you know what? Let me go make some copies and I'll bring them back. And I brought them back, and he didn't mail them. He didn't mail them, but he made an excuse that they were all original. I still have the voice recorded, the voicemail. I'm like, God dang. So then 4 months ago, this is when I found out, 3 or 4 months ago, and then I went to the VA and I redid the whole thing. Now they're giving benefits for tinnitus, which is, or whatever they call it, ringing of the ears. Like, I swear, I feel like they're sending something, like, in the air somewhere, and it's real high, or sometimes it's real low, and it just, sometimes you don't hear it, but you're like, whoa, your ears get all like weird. And one of my friends that I know, he just finally got money for that. They're finally going to approve, or they approved the surgery from the bottom up, the lower half of your back. My brother developed brittle bones from oxys. Oh, yeah, that's another thing, Junk Journal Diva. I was reading online 3 days ago, because I'm like, one of my family members is addicted to it, sadly. Her face is already, her jaw is crooked when she talks, and she's fallen 3 times already in the past 4 years. And I'm like, that has to be from their bones, like they're thinning out or something. So here I am, I'm gonna get this surgery done on my butt. It's so embarrassing. But I'm in a lot of pain. My hip hurts at night. I heard that RSO is good, but I don't know if it's legal. They give that to cancer patients. Now my shoulders are hurting again. When I'm sleeping, my foot, here's the ankle, right? My foot on this part will hurt like hell, and it starts twisting. My bones inside, I feel like they're twisting. I get Charlie horses like you wouldn't believe. I'm already taking a bunch of magnesium citrate. What else? I'm taking calcium. The P word. What's the P word is potassium. Yeah, potassium. But my son, he's a nurture. What do you call it? Not only a bodybuilder, but he has a certificate in nutrition, and he's studying physiology. And it's so cool because I got him into bodybuilding when he was 13. So we've been pumping iron. But right now I'm taking a break because I'm in a lot of pain, and I also have some hernias on my stomach. So when I eat, I don't know what's gonna happen. Like, either I don't go or I go, right? When I had my near-death experience, they disconnected my colon. It took 20 doctors to save me. Then they reconnected it. They took out the shrapnel, and I don't know what's gonna happen. I mean, I do see a outcome of not needing radiation, or chemo, but then I see the other part needing it. But then the one reality that I want is that I don't. Obviously, everybody wants that, right? That you don't need chemo or radiology, that it's just done with surgery. So that's what I'm hoping for. The only reason why I've been crying a lot is, and then I say, no more crying. You got to be man up, man up. You know, if you notice with your brother, he probably has DID, which I have it. It's dissociative personality disorder, which it used to be multiple personality disorders, and PTSD, insomnia, anxiety. So what happens is you get triggered. It could be like the other day, it was a military convoy, but nobody could see it was a convoy. It was inside, and I remote viewed it, and I'm like, this mother effer has tanks in there. Or this, they gave us LSD too. They gave us LSD. They effed us up royally in the military and police. So it could happen that you're triggered. And of course, I don't like to use that word because, oh, you're not healed yet. Well, mother effer, it takes a whole life to heal from this shit. Excuse my language. But sometimes it could be a loud noise. Sometimes it could be like, when it's 4th of July, I cannot stand it because of the firecrackers going. Sometimes they're gunshots, sometimes they're not. And you're like, what's going on? I'm always hyper vigilant, no matter where I am, where I go, eyes peeled. I don't trust anyone because guess what they did in the military? They put gas on you, and then they first make you make a hole on the ground. And if you saw First Lady Erica Woolman with me on our show with Army or military benefits, I don't know what I named it, but she's like, yeah, I remember when they would make us, dig the hole, put you in there, you had to put gas on yourself, and then sleep like that, hoping that nobody would light you up on fire. A lot of things. You're not allowed to cry. You're not allowed to show emotion. So just right now, before the video, I started crying. I'm like, nope, can't be a pussy. Excuse my language. You can't be a PUSSY. You got to be strong. You got to be hard, and that's how also not only military, but I have family. My family's like that. We're so strong. But we have to learn how to be happy. What makes you happy? That's my whole thing about this too, is just letting you know what's going on. And what makes you happy? I was just asking my son, what makes you happy? Miko, what makes me happy? My daughter says, Mom, you got to talk about this stuff. And I said, I'm a starseed. I said, there's another person, a parallel reality that's going through the same thing I am with her knee. And I feel I know her from other past lives. And she's like, it's called parallel lives. And I said, how do you know we didn't come in at the same time for this? And my daughter's like, what if, hola, Andrew. Thank you. Oh, thank you, Andrew. What if you came in to volunteer for this? Like, why the hell would I want to volunteer for this? But then I said, well, maybe because I'm strong and I got this, right? Maybe I needed to do this to show the world that you're strong, that you can do this, that this is going to be my I just had my 23rd surgery. I just had my 23rd surgery. I'm going to have number 24, number 25, number 26, number 27 is my left hand and my thumb. Number 28 is my right hand and my thumb. Number 29 is this thing that grew back again. I tend to grow extra bone. 30, I don't know if it's going to be the two hernias in my stomach taken out. 31, I don't know if it's going to be the cyst, what they're going to do with it in the liver. I don't know what they're going to do in the lungs, but all I know is if I didn't take the thing that they're offering nowadays, why would I do the radiation and why would I do chemo? That's just a question. John Journal Diva, did you see the man in the high tower? It was exactly what you said, parallel lives and parallel. Yes, ma'am, I did. But before that, I don't know if you've been on this show before, but I talk a lot about my super soldier experiences and my other lives that I've had, my parallel dimensions. Like I actually finally I met myself twice, once this year and once last year in the astral. I went to sleep last year. I went to sleep one night, and I usually have, go to sleep where the headboard is. I made that from the dollar store. I love Halloween. I have something. I died for 3 days. I was in the hospital a month and a half. So Halloween to me is very important, very special. Ever since I was a kid. But anyway, oh shoot, what was I saying, guys? Remind me. See, this is what happened. I had a TIA in September of what was it, 2016, and I asked the anesthesiologist the last time. The 30th of August was one of my surgeries. I said, "Is it the anesthesia?" He says, "No, it's a TIA. You forget." You may. Oh yeah, Thank you, Andrew. I met myself twice in the astral. Yes, meeting myself, Miss Diva. And so I fell asleep, and my head was to the headboard like that. And in my dream, I woke up, and my head was on the footboard like this. And then I came in from the gym into my room, and I had my headphones on, my black hat on, my black clothes, my bandana, my black long sleeve, black everything. I wear black all the time for the gym. And I saw myself walk in, and then I sat down on the bed. As I sat down, my back was to myself, looking at myself, and I'm like, and then I saw myself still listening to the music in the headphones and going like this. And I told myself, I said, "Don't fall asleep, Beto." And I woke up. So that's the first one, right? Last year. I mean, I've had more, but these are the ones that I remember. And then 2 months ago, that was over there in my other apartment. This apartment, 2 months ago, I fell asleep. And then I was at the gym working on a strange machine. And then these guys come in, and I'm like, "Oh, well, I better go because I feel really strange. Like, I should not be here right now." There's 3 guys that I didn't feel right being around. And I took my boots. They were actually brown, like tannish military boots. And there was a yellow vest, and it said police. And I knew from that dream that there's something going on. And look what's happening right now. Right now, in Israel, right? All right, so that was one part of that dream. So then I'm driving, and I have a black dress on. It's a nice going out dress, And I'm driving on a black SUV, and I'm going toward the mountains, real pretty. But then at the same time, it feels like Florida. Like there's water. I don't know. It's real nice. I look in the rearview mirror, and I'm behind me, and she has straight hair. She's younger, and I'm trying to look and drive at the same time, and she keeps popping back and forth in a glitch, like she's using technology to get to me. But I said, "Hey, who are you?" And then she switched sides, and she's like, "I'm you." Looking through the rearview mirror, and I'm like, "Wow, holy f! This is like what? This is like weird, right?" And I'm like, "For real?" She's like, "Yeah." So then I stop at the house, and then she gives me a hug, and she says, "I love you." And I'm like, "I love you. I got you." I don't know what else we said, but she left, right? And then I was looking at the closet. I was getting out my things from, I was unpacking because this was another reality where I was still married and my kids, and I was unpacking in this beautiful house we had just bought. And then I see a mirror. It was a round mirror. Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all? You gotta see that movie, The Huntsman, that war with Charlize Theron. Anyway, I do a lot of magic. I do a lot of communicating through mirrors. Like this is a mirror here. Portals. Your phone is a mirror. I do a lot of traveling through that too and communicating. So I saw a mirror, and then the next thing that was going on is the latches on the like this. They started. All of them started moving, and I'm like, "What's going on?" And then I get a phone call, and it's me. I said, "Hey, by the way, what's your name?" And she goes, "I'm you and you're me, and my name here in this reality is Michelle." Michelle what? And it was like kind of a weird name, Lewinsky or some weird some weird name. And I'm like, that's interesting. But at the same time, you know me, I break contracts with everything that I dream because sometimes these entities can use weaponry or technology to make you think that you're you. You just got to be really careful. I do feel though that was a me in another reality. I do feel that. And so, because I always tell you guys, I always tell you, I do not ask for help from anything up there because those are just people like us with technology above the dome, and it opens up between 3 a.m. and 4:30, 4:20. That's why there's magic. You can communicate, and people can come in and go out and exit, do anything like that. But anyway, so I always say, okay, if I'm going to ask for help, I'm going to ask myself and my altars for help. So that's one of my altars. And I think it's really, really, really interesting that you can call upon yourself for help. Instead of calling up on the angels and, the gods up there, wannabe gods, I don't. I don't do that anymore because if you look at 1984 Wonder Woman, there's a jinn there. And I also come from the line of jinns. Okay, there's a jinn in that movie. But it's actually, they don't show the jinn. It's like a little bolita, like a little thing, like a little crystal. And then the guy finds out about it, and he breaks it, and it goes inside him, and he becomes like a genie. So he's like asking everybody, "What do you want? What do you want?" And then, okay, well, you can have all the oil that you want, but guess what? And then he touches him and says, "But I'm going to take this from you. I'm going to take your son from you, or I'm going to take your money, or I'm going to take your dog, or I'm going to take your house. I'm going to take your bloodline." This is what these jinns, wannabe angels, do. If you're not careful, be careful. I'm not saying there's not any good out there, but guess what? I've had a lot of problems with the evil ones, with the ones that just want to have something from you. If they can be a human being for a day, you're gold to them. If they can siphon your energy, your emotions, you're gold to them. That's why I have a really hard time if I'm going to cry or not, or if I'm going to get mad or not, or if I'm going to, if I'm going to sleep or not, because I'm worried about what they're going to do to me in the astral and what they're going to do to me here. Some of these jinns or whatever can come in into a person's aura or body in parasite form, like alcohol, drugs, sex. There's a book. Let me show you another book that I use in my classes. Hold on. Pardon my mess, and pardon me. I'm wearing shorts. It's called Sex, Sorcery, and Spirit by Jason Miller. Okay, when you have sex with someone, do you just let that orgasm go? This is private stuff. This is only for adults, by the way. You can take my class if you want to. I still have them recorded. There's something magical that happens when that happens. Do you just let it go for these entities to prey upon, to do magic for you? Why do you think you feel like crap the next day? There's also this book, the Book of the Law. This is that they're praising this sun, this Horus. The things in the Bible are not what you think, guys. I've been researching this stuff for a long time, and if you don't want to follow me anymore, that's fine. That's on you. I love you anyway. The Magdalene manuscripts, The Alchemist of Horus, and Sex Magic of Isis. These are entities which they want to be called gods, but all they were once human, but now they use technology to siphon. Okay? Why do you think they take the children? Because they can put their consciousness in that child, get rid of the child, and then they start a new life. These Kobe things, these people that are dead, celebrities that are dead, they're not dead. Clones. Biden's a clone. Obama was a clone. How do you know they don't clone us? This book that I started talking about real quick, The Gene, do you know they use technology? Of course, I've talked about it before, but if you want to learn more about it, The Gene talks about how they use technology to, find out mutations in cells. Chromosomes, there's thousands of chromosomes in our DNA. What they call junk DNA is not junk DNA. Some of it carries the diseases, which is disease. Your body is not at ease, right? some people want the test done so that they can abort their little their Down syndrome. How sad that is. I don't know. To me, the Down syndrome, that's just me, is an alien race. I don't want to call them aliens. I just want to call it like with me, with this stuff that's going on with the blood, with the C word, with the I have the hernias, lipomas, the tumors, the whatever you call it. Okay, everything that's there in your body. And the bloodlines, they cross the bloodlines. The O negative, right? We got the 12 bloodlines, and I'm number 13. So I'm this grand experiment, and most of you can be too. I'm pretty sure you are. Of things happening to you left and right. It's like, oh well. One time when I was in the academy, one of my friends said, "Gosh, Veronica, if you didn't have any bad luck, you wouldn't have any luck whatsoever." I'm like, I don't think so. That's really sad what you just said. Like, I don't even believe in luck or destiny. If you look at Gilmore Girls, they always talk about that. Hey, there's no such thing as destiny or luck. You make your own life. You make your own destiny. So I believe with all my heart that with our DNA and our gene code, we can change it. If the scientists can change your gene code to be whatever you want, this beautiful, tall, blonde, sexy, or beautiful, melanin dominant, gorgeous female, what makes you think that they can't take out these diseases? They can. They're trying to be what they call God. God, this whole thing with SpaceX and Elon Musk and everything. That's just, we've already been on the moon and on Mars. We've already been there. We have stations there. This is not a new thing. This is just a distraction. The Jew thing is a distraction right now with Israel because remember, they hold secrets there that they don't want anyone to know. In Iraq, I have Iranian blood, by the way, Iranian Persian blood on my dad's side. In Iraq, they have a Stargate that you can travel through other worlds. They don't want that to be um, messed with. In Ukraine, in the Caucasus Mountains, there's another Stargate. So this goes above and beyond government experimentations on soldiers like I was. It goes beyond the medical. If you're not a soldier, you're still being experimented on because these viruses, the V words that they're trying to make or they've been experimenting on the world, on everyone. Everyone is a science experiment, I feel, here on Earth. Why the heck would we want to come here on Earth and have kids and have them to be susceptible to all this? And that's why I tell everybody, don't tell me about reincarnation because I ain't coming back. I'm resolving all my crap now. Now, the time is now. I don't have to come back and say, oh, I need to work on this part of me now. No, that's also a program. I was all into the love and light community, the new age movement. I was into Eckankar. I was trying to find God. And I finally found it, and I'm looking right at her. That's me. And I don't like to call it God. You know what? I don't like to because we're more than that. We're more than the angels. We're stars. We're the stars that fall to help humanity. But what do? They treat you like shit here. Most of the time. They make fun of you. They trolled me on my channel. They're like, oh, you're lying, or yo, you're crazy. It's pretty sad. So I'm trying to find happiness for I don't know how long I have, but I shouldn't say I'm trying to find happiness because I'm already happy because I have my beautiful kids and they're my mission to be with them, to show them, hey, love yourself and trust yourself. Number one, you are always going to have to be number one. Not in the religion where they teach you, you got to put yourself in the back burner because everybody else is more important than you. And you're like, later on in life, you find out that you have desgastándote. You have, I don't know how to say that in English, desgastándote. Stripping yourself for others. That most of the time they don't care. They're just using you. Some are legit. Some do say thank you. I appreciate you, love you. And then they go on and change their life and help others like that. But most of the time it's gimme. My name is Jimmy. And keeping up with the Joneses. I got to have the latest model car. I have to have the latest Louis Vuitton purse. Like, what the hell? Is that going to make you happy? No. I'm preaching now. I'm preaching to the choir. You guys know me, that I get very passionate about these subjects. What makes you happy? To me, I finally had this talk with my son. Happiness to me is having my children, my animals, right, with me, my family, being able to breathe in an environment that I am safe, that I don't have to worry about somebody slapping my ass, kicking my ass, causing me to have problems just because I say something I'm crazy or I cannot even speak, because they're always, that narcissist is always asking why. What do you mean? Oh, what? You think you're better than me? No, it's not about that. This life should not be a competition with marriages, with people, with family, with kids. It shouldn't be a competition. It shouldn't be a competition out there in military and police, but it's always a competition. Right now, there's a big war on the female. Right now, it's transhumanism, guys. Like, that's what they want. I've made videos before where the ultimate thing that they want is to make eunuchs out of us, which is AI wants to control us. There is an AI God out there, if you want to call it God. I name it God Wars. If you guys are interested, you can book an appointment with me. I do readings. I'm a recovery coach. I stopped smoking. I stopped drinking years ago and I just stopped smoking last year, because I'm like, I started smoking organic cigarettes and it was a total of 3 years when I got a divorce, because it was hard for me to cope, right? And they had me on all kinds of medications for my mind, clonazepam, fluvoxamine, you name it, heart medications, lung medications. They had me in a CPAP machine. I was weighing 271 pounds for 9 years, depressed because I had a divorce. And because of my near-death experience, I thought he was my world. Like, I couldn't live without him. Guess what? They are not your God. Your husbands or your wives, they are not your God. Don't make anyone else that's outside of you your God. Because you are more powerful than you would ever know. And anybody has ever told you, you are more powerful than you will ever know. Don't let this C word, bring you down if you have also been diagnosed, because you know what? I've already lived my life. If I go tomorrow, I'm happy. What matters to me is what I do today. Just being alive, just being grateful because I could breathe without oxygen, being grateful because I have my legs still. I don't know what they're gonna do with my right leg, if anything. I don't know why I'm having so much bone pain. I don't know what's gonna happen. But why do I want to extend my life to be miserable, in pain? I just want this pain to go away, but I've lived with this pain for all my life. And more so now this past 5 years, and more so this year. This year has been really, really, really hard for me. My cousin was telling me the other day, she's like, there's this girl that got diagnosed with cancer, and guess what? They started making fun of her because her hair didn't fall off. I'm like, how cruel can people be? That's why I didn't want to make this video, because I know there's going to be some comments out there. It's like, you know what? Return to sender. I don't care. This is for me, my kids, my family, my close friends. Over and out. Love you guys. Thank you.